Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Y'all can't hear me? All right, there we go. Had to adjust the soundboard here. All right. But let me go ahead and do it again. What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time. And once again, shouts out to everybody in the chat. Shouts out to everybody that's listening at work, at home, on the go, at a rest stop, at the gym, wherever you are. I really do appreciate it, man. Really, really do. On this edition, we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite quarterback among the Who Dat Nation, Derek Carr, and some comments that he made pertaining to his contract. And also, the question is, will the New Orleans Saints add Derek Carr to their future? Does the future have Derek Carr in it when it comes to the Saints? We'll be discussing that. And also, we'll be taking some of your questions and comments as well. This is not going to be a long show, folks. Just want to let you know that. But I do also want to let you know that this show is powered by BETUS. All right. All you got to do is just sign up. You can get up to 150% on your first deposit, up to 125 on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. Let's go ahead and get into it, folks. Derek Carr. Derek Carr just finished up his second season as the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. And, of course, just like every other Saints player that we've heard, Derek Carr spoke to the media. His final, I guess you can say, presser or interview with Derek Carr for the 2024 season. I mean, we all know that is in the books. Thank God it's in the books. My goodness, what a disaster of a season. I mean, it started off with so much promise, man. Everybody was so excited to watch the football team. 91 points in 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden things just went off the rails. It just like guys that were old realized they were old, and it just seemed like a lot of bad practices by the New Orleans Saints caused a lot of injuries. Yes, I am saying that, because after those practices were no longer taking place, the Saints seemed like they began to get a little bit healthy. But I digress. Okay, I'm not going to get into all that. I think we all know the story. But here's the thing. Derek Carr spoke to the media, and he spoke about a few topics here. He talked a little bit about his future and the fact that you should never say never, even though he's extremely optimistic that he might be back in a Saints uniform.
Nothing's ever promised in this game. And y'all know me, man. I'm positive about everything. But, you know, my conversations with Mickey, with Miss Benson, you know, with Riz and Clint and everybody, like it's been super positive. And, you know, I'll never speak for them. I'll let them speak for themselves. But, you know, I feel excited about being here because I feel like we finally not only, you know, the last 16, 17 games, whatever, you know, played really well. But also my wife and I have been able to, you know, do what we do in the community. You know, that's super important to me. I'm super passionate about our city and our fans and this organization and my teammates. And I feel like we finally starting to put our you know, our thumb down on who we are. And, you know, people are getting to see who we are. And, you know, that part's exciting for me. You know, but also this is a business, you know, when you're going to be 34 and you make a certain amount of money, you know, I'm never surprised by anything. You know, my brother always told me if they got rid of Peyton Manning, they can get rid of you, you know, and that is the truth. And I've always believed that since day one I got in the NFL. And so for me, I'm fully confident, but at the same time, nothing ever surprises you, you know, but I've had great conversations with everybody.
So as you can see, or some of you, as you can hear, Derek Carr is extremely happy. Okay, I'm trying to fix the soundboard and talk at the same time. I apologize, folks, but seems like he's extremely happy. He's excited. He talked about how he basically has felt accepted by the New Orleans community. You know, and the fact that him and his wife have done some amazing things. Look, I think we can agree. I think that we know that Derek Carr has went out in the community and he has done some really good things. I think we all seen the video of him blessing those families around Christmas time. Nobody is saying that Derek Carr is a bad human being. I think that he is a really good human being. I respect Derek Carr as a family man. As a family man myself, I understand that putting your family first is key. But we ain't talking about what he does in the community. We're not talking about what type of human being he is. We're talking about him being a quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. But of course, you know, there's some skepticism about Derek Carr. Like, is he the guy to lead the New Orleans Saints into the future? Is he that dude? Can he help this team elevate itself to heights that it hasn't been at in a very long time? All right. And people are kind of disgruntled and very, very frustrated with this organization. And it has a lot to do with Derek Carr leaving a lot to be desired. But the question was asked to Derek Carr, you know, what message would you have to the fan base? What message would you have for a fan that is tired? It feels like this is just a brick wall and they're just running into it over and over again. What type of optimism will you be able to give that fan? And this is what Derek Carr said.
Well, you know, whenever we were all out there, it looked pretty darn good, you know, and having those reps and having that time on task, you know, I'd say it looked really good. And I think we all enjoyed those times, myself included. So hopefully we get a chance to do that. And, you know, again, you never know what the future holds. You never know, you know, what's going to happen and all those kind of things. But very proud of what we were able to put on tape. You know, the silent movie. Coach Dub always talked to me when I was, you know, 17, 18 years old. He said, football is all about the silent movie. What's that film say? I don't care what you say. What's the film say? And when we turned the film on, you know, when we were all out there, it looked pretty darn good. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do that again someday.
So he says that it looked good. All right, he feels like they put some positive stuff on tape. Now I'm going to be honest with you. They did put some positive stuff on tape. It seemed like Rashid Shaheed was on his way to be an All-Pro. Alvin Kamara was hitting on all cylinders very early in the season. But the thing about it is, when things started to go off the rails, you look to your leader, you look to your quarterback to be able to help guys and elevate them, right? And we didn't see that once again. And that is the problem. And that's the issue that Saints fans have with Derek Carr. And that's my main issue with Derek Carr. People I've heard over the last, I guess, couple of days kind of talk about the future of this football team. And look, I mean no disrespect when I say this, but it's a lot of desperate takes that I'm hearing from some individuals when they talk about approaching the offseason. Like, the Saints just need Derek Carr so badly. Yeah, make sure that you put the thumbs up. Like, you just need him so badly. Like, you're just lost in translation if you don't have Derek Carr, because Spencer Rattler started the games and they didn't win any. But here's the thing, man. Derek Carr is 14-13 as the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. He went 5-5 as a starter for the New Orleans Saints this season. Derek Carr in his entire career is 77-92 as a starting quarterback. Derek Carr only has been to the playoffs twice, and he's 0-1, okay? And he went twice because I'm saying that he led the Raiders to the playoffs. The time that he started, he didn't win. And he's been in the league going on 12 years. So in 12 years, he's only been to the playoffs twice, and he's 0-1. All I'm saying is, people are acting like you got yourself, even Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk Cousins has been to the playoffs, won playoff games, has had a team and led them to double-digit wins consistently. They acting like that's somebody, that's salvageable. Like, this is an average quarterback. And this, to me, is the issue that I have with people talking about Derek Carr. Like, have you ever heard that song, I Can Do Bad by Myself? I can do bad by myself. Y'all heard that song. I mean, where my blues folk at? Y'all heard that song, man. I can do bad by myself. I can be trash for less. I can be mediocre for less. And people are like, oh, man, well, you got to keep Derek Carr around, because if you don't keep Derek Carr around, I mean, what are you going to do at the quarterback position? You can't find somebody that can win you 5 games and lose 5? You can't find somebody that can probably produce a 77-92 record as a starting quarterback? You can't find a quarterback that's 0-1 in the playoffs? Like, you can find that. That's mediocre stats. And this is what I got a problem with. The issue and the problem that Saints fans have with the Saints organization? You know what reason why the Saints fans get so mad and upset and frustrated at what they're actually seeing? Because they know now what success looks like. And they also know that the Saints have the capabilities. The organization has the capabilities of finding success. We have to be very, 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 very careful not to moonwalk our way back to desperation. This is starting to reek of the Saints that I grew up watching, where we just wanted a piece of a quarterback. Well, I don't want to go through those days no more. I don't want to go through that. Derek Carr leaves a lot to be desired. And dude talking to the media like he around this thing like he didn't led several teams to the playoffs or something. Like, you can get this anywhere. And I can understand probably the way that he's talking, the Saints didn't definitely say that they were going to add him to the future. He didn't get no assurance from them. Well, and he shouldn't. He should not get any assurance from the New Orleans Saints because he hasn't done enough in a Saints uniform. Now, this leads me to this article that I was reading, right? From NBC Sports. And I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knows where I'm going with this. Everybody knows where I'm going. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. All right, come from NBC Sports, and it talks about how Derek Carr says that he won't take a pay cut in 2025. Once again, Derek Carr says he won't take a pay cut in 2025. When the Saints signed quarterback Derek Carr 2 years ago, after he was released by the Raiders, the contract was structured as a 2-year guarantee with a team option thereafter. Sooner than later, we'll find out what the Saints opt to do. Okay, let's go ahead and stroll down a little bit. This is coming from Catherine Terrell at ESPN. Shouts out to Catherine, does a really good job, keeps them boys on their toes, holds everybody accountable. Need more like her. Not saying anybody's not doing that, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to journalists, just wish everybody would be like Catherine Terrell. But anyway, here's the quote. It says, this comes from Derek Carr, says, I got to take care of myself. And then the rest after that is really out of my hands, which we already pretty much heard in the soundbite. Carr said to Terrell, I've had conversations with everyone in the building from Mickey Loomis to Gail Benson, with everybody. And we all have mutual feelings. And so my confidence level is very high of what can happen. Let's go ahead and stroll down a little bit because we pretty much heard that. But here's the very interesting thing here. All right. Derek Carr is getting $30 million that is fully guaranteed or could become fully guaranteed on the third day of the league year in March. The money is currently guaranteed because Derek Carr is injured. Of course, the last time we seen Derek Carr, he decided that he was Reggie Bush against the Pittsburgh Steelers and tried to dive over two guys, and he ended up concussing himself and also breaking his hand. All right, but here's the thing. The money is currently guaranteed for the injury if the hand injury that caused him to miss the last 4 games of the season hasn't significantly healed so that he can pass a physical by then. The $30 million obligation would become fully vested. So because Derek Carr got hurt, because the man is injured, if he goes, let's just say, for example, oh, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, which you hear him saying, I'm hurting, man. I'll be hurting too for $30 million, man. My neck, my back, my neck and my back, right? I mean, for $30 million, I'm hurt too. But anyway, if he goes and he goes to a team doctor and they check him out and they're still, he can't pass the physical, he gets $30 million. Now, I want people to understand this. I know some Saints fans out there because he basically said, and I'm actually quoting this right now, he says that he won't take a pay cut. He says, yeah, I wouldn't do that, especially with what I put on tape. What he put on tape. We'll get into that. He says, would I restructure? Absolutely. I've always helped the team that way. But there's some things that you have to put out there that you earned. Even in some cases, it could be even worse. But I felt confident when I signed it that this would give the team the best flexibility at the time. But there's always a kind of respect as a quarterback. You're like, well, still, we're in this respectful lane. We're good. Build the team. But yeah, I wouldn't take anything less to do this. It's hard enough putting our bodies through this, and you're trying to get everything you can for. I have no problem with what Derek Carr said. I know this might shock some folk, but I have absolutely no problem with what he said. I ain't trying to take no pay cut. Okay? Because the reality is these leagues are cold. These organizations are cold. They're cold as ice, folks, because we know if they sign these contracts and these guys end up getting hurt, these teams are going to find every way they possibly can not to pay a dude. So I'm not going to sit up here and criticize Derek Carr and say, oh, man, you should take a pay cut. I'm not going to pocket watch somebody, right? Because I'm not going to come to you and tell you you made enough money. I'm just not. Like, imagine somebody come up to you and let's just say, for example, I'm going to use Gunham because I'm actually looking at his name. Gunham, you an upper management, man. You making hand over fist and money, 6 figures, 7 figures, if you will. And somebody comes to you and says, Gunham, you done made enough money, my friend. Look, we not going to pay you no more like we used to. You going to look at them like they crazy. I know it's easy for us to get outraged and upset because we're looking at it from somebody else's eyes. What I like to do here on the State of the Saints podcast is humanize these players. Yes, we have an axe to grind with Derek Carr. It doesn't seem like he can do anything right. Seems like he always kind of puts his foot in his mouth. But in this case, I'm not mad at dude. I'm not mad at him for not wanting to take a pay cut because these organizations are cutthroat. And I'm not taking no pay cut. Like, seriously. If you, like, think about this. If a football player signs a $100 million contract, right? And let's just say, I don't know, he ends up getting injured, right? That team is going to find any way that they can to try to cut this guy to try to alleviate some of the costs. I'm not doing it. And I don't blame dude. And I'm not going to look at him like I'm upset because I'm not. My problem is dude talking like he like that, and you're not. You're average quarterback that leaves a lot to be desired. Like, could Derek Carr go to a situation like Minnesota and they end up making a postseason? Yes, because they got a lot of things around Derek Carr that makes him successful. A defense, a running game, a elite receiver. You know, like, you basically are just absolutely trash if you can't thrive in that type of situation. Could he go to the 49ers where you got, with a healthy George Kittle and a healthy Christian McCaffrey and a healthy Deebo Samuel and a good defense that's healthy? Absolutely, he can make the postseason. Yes, he can win some football games, but you're not going to win football games structured the way the New Orleans Saints are structured with a quarterback like Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not that dude. He is check down Charlie. He is a guy that, is not going to give you what you need. We have seen this on countless occasions. We need Derek Carr to elevate his game, and you kind of just go through the motion for about 2 or 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, he'll start padding some stats or maybe sustain some type of winning drive. And here come the Derek Carr stands out here telling us how good he is. No. Like I said, tell me about the game itself. Don't tell me about the last 2 minutes of a football game. Because if that is the case, then Tim Tebow is a great quarterback. Because if you remember when Tim Tebow was starting, that's when everything started to come alive in the last 2 minutes of a football game. But the majority of the time, throughout the totality of the game, he was garbage. And I'm not saying that Derek Carr is garbage. I'm just saying there are times where you expect for a quarterback of his caliber to elevate their game, and they can't. So I say that to say this. Get rid of him. Like, it's just plain and simple. Get rid of him. Like, if you're paying a guy and you know for a fact that there's a chance, more so than likely, that you're not going to make the postseason with him being your quarterback, what in the world are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? If I'm not looking at you and okay, you look at Patrick Mahomes right now. Let's just imagine you're looking at Patrick Mahomes right now. Are you making the playoffs? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no in the chat. 9 times out of 10, unless you just living on some other foreign planet, you're going to say yes. Joe Burrow. If you got Joe Burrow, chances are you making the postseason. Josh Allen, there's a chance you're making the postseason. A strong chance that you're making the postseason. Look at Derek Carr. Can you emphatically say that with Derek Carr, you're going to make the postseason? What are we talking about? What are we trying to do, folks? Is what I'm saying. That is why what I said earlier. We need to be very, very careful not to fall back into the hole of desperation. Because the Saints that I want to exist in 2025 is a contender, not somebody that's just trying to keep some behinds and seats, trying to keep the popcorn hot and the peanuts roasted. I want a good product. And if you're going to be wallowing in mediocrity, get yourself a young quarterback. If we roll a dice for cheap. Roll a dice with a young quarterback, not somebody that has been in the league going on 12 years and everybody and their mama already pretty much knows what the heck they are as a quarterback. I hope that the New Orleans Saints really look at this situation long and hard. Nobody wants to feel like they're losing money. But in this case, if you're going into 2025 knowing that there's a strong chance that the quarterback that you're signed to for a substantial amount of money will not get you to the postseason, there's a strong chance that that won't happen. Like everything kind of got to fall into place. It was seen this year. And I don't feel bad about saying this, folks, because I've seen players get hurt. I've seen wide receivers get hurt. I've seen offensive linemen get hurt. And I've seen a quarterback that is great enough to rise above their situation. I'm not saying that you are probably going to be making the playoffs, but you're going to win some more games than you lose. And you definitely are going to be the main reason why your team is winning when you are going through adverse times. I'm looking around this team and I'm watching these games and I'm looking, and you're supposed to be the guy that kind of stands out in the crowd. You're supposed to be the silver lining in this dark cloud that we are watching and right in front of our eyes every single week. And you basically look like you're part of the problem. So like I said, I have no problem with him not wanting to take a pay cut. But I do have a problem with your statement about watching the tape. Watching the tape. I watched enough tape on Derek Carr to know that the Saints ain't winning jack with Derek. And the New Orleans Saints need to be very, very smart about this going into this offseason. They have reality right there in front of them, slapping them in the face, giving them an opportunity to try to pivot. Are you going to try to pivot, or are you going to try to run straight through this brick wall? Okay, are you going to go around this brick wall? It's showing you that it's a brick wall. It's showing you its strength. It's showing you that it's going to hurt if you smash into this wall, or are you going to try to go around it? Let's see what the New Orleans Saints do. But if it was me, I'm letting dude go. I'm letting them go. All right, let them go. Let me read some of your comments for the rest of the show here. So if you have something to say, feel free to chime in. 270 people watching this right now. I ask that you hit the like button. Please do. Please, pretty please. Dalton, Mickey has to keep those draft picks so he can waste them moving up in the draft for a defensive end that can't play day one. Well, Jack, if that is the case, I'm starting to see a trend here, man. I'm starting to see a trend here. Starting to see a trend of old, out of touch executives making really bad decisions. Like I'm looking at, Mara, the guy who owns the Giants, talking about he tired of, these situations that they're going through in New York is rather they going to change it or some changes going to need to be made because I'm sick of it. If you sick of it, fire the folk. If you sick of it, do something about it, right? Don't talk about leaving. Actually leave. Man, I'm leaving. My bag's packed. My bag's by the door. I'm unlocking the top lock. I'm unlocking the bottom lock. I'm turning the knob. Get your up out of the house. Get out of here. Like, change your situation, man. What are we doing? These out-of-touch guys, man, the Jerry Joneses of the world, the Mickey Loomises of the world, the Myras of the world, the Stephen Rosses of the world. Like, this is the reason why teams just continue to be unsuccessful, because they got to feel like they are important. They got to feel like they have all the answers. I can't let anybody see me sweat. Bruh, I ain't got to see you sweat. There was this show on HBO. It was about the Lakers called Winning Time. And, the actor, his name escapes me, but he's a hell of an actor. He plays the role of Jerry Buss, the former owner of the Lakers. And he was talking about how swans, they look so majestic as they swim across the pond, right? He said, but a lot of people don't realize, like, underneath the water, like, they kicking, they kicking and they fighting for their life to stay above the water. And, that's kind of what they try to be on, right? They try to show you, trying to make it seem like they all graceful and majestic, and they fighting for their life under the water. But the problem is everybody can see you fighting for your life, R. Kelly. I'm only saying fighting for your life, or not comparing him to R. Kelly, but y'all know what I'm talking about, when you say I'm fighting for my life. But anyway, I'm not comparing him to that, but all I'm saying is you're fighting for your life, right? Everybody can see you are having a bad outing of it. And the more these things start to occur, people are going to feel like you never was who you say you were. You never were that guy. You never were that dude. That is what they're going to say. And it's starting to feel that way because they need to feel like they got this thing under control. Get some players up in here that can actually play day one. Stop trying to make these guys work. Stop trying to make a left tackle a center. Stop trying to make a center a right tackle. Stop trying to make a defensive tackle a linebacker. Stop trying to make a linebacker with his hand on his ground, trying to make him the next Lawrence Taylor, when it comes to middle linebacker, with sacks or whatever like that. That'll work. But trying to have this man fly across the field like he Luke Kuechly or something. That's the problem. Like, they try to plug and play these players. Like, look across this team. Nobody plays their original position. Nobody plays the position that mostly they were known for, that made them successful for you to actually want to draft them in the first place. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. But anyway, I'm tired of Carr. I've seen enough of Carr. Spencer Rattler has shown me enough that he can grow and process football situational awareness. Look, Gunham, I've already told y'all. It's just like that song I made. We over him. Like, there's nothing Derek Carr can do. Like people kind of act as if Derek Carr is just the worst quarterback on God's green earth. He is not. But what the Saints need in a leader and what they need in a quarterback, he can't provide. And once again, I can do bad by myself. I don't need you to be sitting up here just making me mediocre or just good enough so I won't be able to draft your replacement. No. Like, if we ain't talking about multiple playoff appearances, we're not talking about being a contender, if we're not talking about division titles, what are we talking about here? Why are we keeping around a 12-year veteran that can't get me where I need to go? Like, seriously, why am I keeping this guy around? Like, you should feel offended. Your intelligence should feel questioned here, folks. That the Saints are trying to keep around a guy who has never won nothing. And they're trying to convince us, the viewer, the fan, the onlooker, that this is the best that they can possibly do. And we know it's not. Because we know that the outcome is not going to be the outcome that we want. So don't question my intelligence. I'm going to start thinking that you're just doing this for business purposes. Yeah, let's just put, a team just enough out there, to keep everybody heart racing around the fourth quarter, have them on the edge of their seat with they, wringing their hands, hoping that the team can come through. Like, nah, bruh. I want a contender. I want winners. Okay? In the words of Mike Singletary, I want winners. And if a player can't consistently help you win, then what the problem is? What we got them around for? Too many lifetime achievement awards going on around here, folks. Too many lifetime achievement awards. Guys getting hurt, not being available, but when they out there, they making plays, but they always hurt. And you got to hold on to the memory of them actually being out there because for the most part, they ain't never out there and they still get contract extensions. Meanwhile, you don't keep the guys that you need to keep. You keep them on special teams and just waste those guys' time. Go Marcus Allen them boys when Al Davis was the owner. Basically just had Marcus Allen sitting on the bench to rot. It's sad, man. Sean, thank you very much for $5. Says sit Garbage and start Rattler from day one. Have Garbage on the bench till it's feasible to cut him. Well, look, I just say go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, man. You ain't losing or saving nothing by having him around. A defensive tackle. Thank you very much for the $2. Says stop treating me. Stop trying to make me a sinner, you clown. Look, stop trying to switch these guys around and try to make them something that they're not. Like, nobody wants to be something that they're not. You're not happy if you're not who you are, right? If somebody try to make you who you need to be or who they feel like you should be, I should say, like, it doesn't make you happy. So stop trying to make these guys who you want them to be. And then get mad and talk about, oh, well, man, they just didn't work out. They're just not good enough. No, you're probably not good enough at what you're asking them to do. But as we can see for guys like Caden Ellis, Zach Bond, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, like you put them in positions that make them comfortable, they thrive. So the question is something wrong with them or is there something wrong with you? I'll let you all answer that. I'm okay with Rattler starting next season because we're going to win 1 or 2 games with him and we can get a number 1 draft pick and get us a real quarterback. Look, sink or swim, and I'm with it. I know you're using more extreme measures here to try to get your point across, Big Mel. But here's the thing: sink or swim. I'm okay with that. Look, man, everybody should just come to grips, woosah, and just look at this team for what it is. It's a team that's going to need a lot of work. This team is that dilapidated house that you walk past, but it's about to go into foreclosure and you got a good deal on it, right? You got to look at it for what it is, right? You got to look at it for what it is, and then you have to look at it for the possibilities of what it could be. And if you have Spencer Rattler as your starting quarterback, it can be sink or swim, just like that dilapidated house. Now, you can sit up here and just talk about how raggedy this house was and a waste of money it is that you actually purchased this house, or you can put some work into it, right? Try to see what you can actually get out of it when you put the work in and see, once you put everything together, I guarantee you it will become marketable if you do it the right way. So if Spencer Rattler doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out for him, if it doesn't, happen, then you already know. You're still trending in the right direction because you end up getting a high draft pick and you can draft a quarterback that you need to help your franchise reach its full potential. Sink or swim, in my opinion. Pretending like you aren't where you are is just is laughable at this point. It's laughable, man. One cool thing Green Bay Packers do is draft their heir apparent a couple of years before they trade or cut the quarterback. Yeah, they do a really good job at that, right? They get guys, they draft them, they have them sit on a bench for a couple of years, they have them like kind of be students of the game, and then eventually, they get the starting spot, and the game is kind of slowed down for them, and they take advantage of the opportunity. We've seen that with Brad Favre. He was the starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers sat a few years, and then Aaron became the quarterback, and the rest is history. Looks like it's going in the same direction with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. That is a lost art. It used to be that way back in the day, but people want instant gratification. They want these quarterbacks out there. They want these young guys to give them hope, and that's what they're selling right now. And that's the reason why the quarterback position has never been at its lowest as it has been this season. Like, it's been some bad quarterback play because it is a lost art. It's a lost art to have a young guy sit. And it's unfortunate because we live in this microwavable society today where people just want instant results. Be Patrick Mahomes today. Be Peyton Manning today. Oh, you're not Peyton Manning today? Then you suck. And you will never be Peyton Manning. You will never be good. Look no further than Bryce Young. Yes, I am going to big up an NFC South opponent here on this show because this is a practice that has been going on for quite some time, and we just need to stop this. Because we'll look at a Jaden Daniels, we'll look at a Cam Newton, or we'll look at a Joe Burrow. We'll look at those guys that are outliers that just hit the league by storm. And then if our quarterback doesn't look like that, we're comparing them to the outliers that come into the league, the very few, the small percentage of quarterbacks that we can name. If they don't look like them, then all of a sudden they're not good enough. And once again, it is a lost art to have a player sit, to be a student of the game. We are quick and we rush our judgment when it comes to these quarterbacks and these players. And it's unfair. It's unfair. So, especially when you look at the way the NFL is structured right now, where they just thrust those quarterbacks into the lineup when they know for a fact they're not ready. I'm trying to listen at work at the same time. Well, look, don't get fired. You can always be an after show boy.
Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys, they be tweet and be post, they be tweet and be post, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys, they be tweet and be post, they be tweet and be post, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
Yeah, shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. Sad thing is, I really thought we were buying a good car. Thought he was going to come in with a chip on his shoulder from the Raiders cutting him loose. That ought to tell you everything you need to know too, man. That ought to tell you everything you need to know too. The Raiders said we rather suck with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, or we rather get Jimmy Garoppolo off in this thing and try to make this thing work than to keep you around. That ought to tell you everything you need to know, man. But, losers, they seem to breed losers. Unsuccessful individuals seem to be around unsuccessful individuals. Look who brought him in. Dennis Allen. Where is Dennis Allen right now? At his house. And that was just a mistake that was a mistake in his own right. Like, your job is on the line. Your career is on the line, right? And I don't know. Y'all get what I'm saying. So, TJ, from what I'm getting is out of Carr or Cam. One contract can stay, one has to go. Am I correct? I don't know, man. I really looked at the contract situations just yet, but man, even if that is the case, like I said, even if that wasn't the case, I should say, I still say let him go. Because he ain't going to give you what you want. TJ, tell me why we are last in the division behind the Panthers, but they are picking ahead of us. That's the part I don't know. I don't understand it. I would assume it had to do with the fact that we beat the Cowboys or something. I don't know, man. And they lost to them. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is. Because that does not make any sense. How are the Saints last in the division and the Panthers picking before them? That doesn't make any sense. I wish I can answer that question for you, but it really doesn't make sense to me. I know they're going to say probably like strength of schedule or something like that, or, team. I don't know how they do that. Should we draft Ward if he's there? I mean, you got bigger fish to fry. Like, seriously, you got bigger fish to fry right now. I mean, if Cam Ward is available and you feel comfortable, yes. If Shedeur Sanders is there and you feel comfortable, yes. But I think you got bigger fish to fry. He's a freshman at LSU, but trying tight end Juwan Johnson should be. The type of tight end that Juwan Johnson should be. Well, Juwan Johnson isn't very good, in my opinion. I mean, hot and cold. Like, couple good plays down the stretch when everything's on the line and you know that you up for a contract, it's not moving me. It just doesn't. Like, just not I don't know, man. It's just something about dude, like, when it comes to like the way that he approaches the game, not the human being, not what he does off the field, but how he approaches the game, man. I just feel like you can get something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more tough, a little bit more dog in him than that. Our organization needs to be really real with themselves. We are not just a quarterback away. I don't think Derek Carr is the answer, but we got a lot of holes to fill. Yeah, he's definitely not the answer. There's definitely a lot of holes that need to be filled. I think we already mentioned that before. We know what it is, man. Look, we know what it is, man. You need offensive line help. You need safety help. You need linebackers. You need another running back that can complement Alvin. You need a wide receiver. I mean, look, the list goes on and on, man. We know what it is, man. We know what's going on here. We know what's happening. We know what needs to be done. But we lost to the Raiders and the Panthers, beat the Raiders. Look like Rodgers strikes again. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure somebody has explained that. I know, like the Saints insiders, they tried to explain it, but it was just convoluted. And I was playing Madden at the time, so I ain't really kind of absorb what they were saying. Just listening to the guys. When they were trying to explain it, I feel like I had to stop what I was doing to really process it. Says, we got 2 seconds and 3/3. We can get at least 5 new starters. And that's the important thing, folks. We need everything. It's crazy. Y'all remember them days? Y'all remember them days when we just, like, man, all we need is a cornerback and we'll be a Super Bowl contender. Now you need a whole team. Do we have the coach and coaches to coach these young players, which baffles me because I ask myself, do they go after players first or the head coach? Look, I think you need a coach that's going to be able to develop players, plain and simple. If you ain't got that, you're wasting everybody's time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it goes beyond just getting a young coach up in here. You need a young coach or an older coach that can actually develop players. That is the reason why I feel like a guy like Todd Monken needs to be on the list. Like I said, this isn't like people want to talk about. I want to make this thing very clear. Nobody advocates for people of color to get coaching opportunities more than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say more, but I'm in that number. Okay, I'm in that number. But I feel like this. I'm not in the business of just giving dudes jobs for the simple fact that they are black or they're Hispanic or what have you. Like, are you that ethnicity and you are the best person for the job? is what we need to be doing, because if not, then you're going to be in this situation yet again, and then you find yourself having a conversation about it, other things down the line. If it makes sense, I'm about it. Okay? So when I say stuff like talking about like Aaron Glenn, does that make sense for your football team? Does that make sense at the time? Is it fair to a coach that is making his first stop, that is going to be judged accordingly? They're not going to look at, the fact that the Saints have an empty cupboard. I think Alvin Kamara said it best when it comes to this. Coaches, players are evaluated based on wins and losses. It doesn't matter if your whole cabinet is depleted, you're decimated with injuries. Nobody cares. If you're a good enough coach, you're supposed to be able to rise above it. Fair or unfair? So that's all I'm saying. So somebody like Todd Monken, like I said, Todd Monken has helped offenses that have struggled, has helped them improve. Lamar Jackson has had his best season statistically as a passer than he has had his entire career. Guys like Rashad Bateman have been making plays that kind of been stuck in limbo. Why? Because Monken has found ways and found things that Rashad Bateman actually thrives in and helps him become a better version of himself. This is what you actually need, guys like that. I'm not saying Todd Monken is the answer. All I'm saying is we got to think outside the box when it comes to these situations. Or in this case, it's painstakingly obvious. You don't even have to think outside the box. You need a coach that can develop players. Rather he's short, rather he's tall, rather he's young, rather he's old, rather he's black, rather he's white, whether he's Hispanic, whether it does not matter. All that matters is if you find the right coach that is the right fit for this job. And the Saints have had an issue, folks, with finding these coaches that can be able to develop guys. And I'm sick and tired of watching guys that can be everything you need them to be for your team, and they go somewhere else and they're everything that they need to be for some other team. I'm tired of it, man. And you can do something about this. Just find a coach that can develop players. And that's a good coach that will demand excellence. That's all I'm saying. First 4 picks should be defense, in my opinion. I disagree. I feel like it should be I don't want to say I disagree. That's a little bit too extreme. I get what you're saying. I really do. Because this team needs everything. And this, honestly, this is subjective at this point. So, DeWine, you're absolutely right. If a person says, man, we need to go offense, we need to get offensive play, offensive line, offensive, you're absolutely right. Tight end, we need, you're absolutely right. Going defense, you're absolutely right. You know why? Because you need everything. You need everything. I had to pause a little bit because what DeWine's saying, it actually makes sense. It is so subjective. Man, you talk about running backs. Hey, man, you right. Tight end, man, you right. Offensive line, man, you right. So there it is. Carr isn't it, fellas. I think we all in agreement with that. Broncos are frauds. Well, I don't think they frauds, man. They just better than what they were last year. And the fact that they've been on a huge playoff drought, I don't think anybody cares. What type of frauds they are. Even if they go to playoffs and lose, I think the fan base have been appeased because they are in the postseason. That boy said, check the tape. Carr definitely played Loomis like a fiddle in this contract, and the team stuck with him. I just never understood it, man. I mean, there wasn't even a huge free agent market for dude. And the Saints were acting like they got Yu Darvish or something like that. When I remember when I was staying in Dallas, when the Texas Rangers kept Yu Darvish at the facility for days trying to work out a contract. They didn't want him to leave the building. Bruh, I would have signed Andy Dalton and called it a day. And guess what? Andy Dalton would have gave you the same level of production. Wouldn't have changed at all. And I'll read a few more, and then we'll get out of here. The next season needs to be one of building and evaluating. We are not a contender. I think that's pretty obvious there. And says Carr and Cousins got the $100 million deal and sucked. Look, I don't know if I don't even want to say Kirk Cousins like yeah, he sucked. But I don't know, man. I think it had a lot to do with the injury, and I don't think he was fully healed. I mean, even like during the offseason and stuff like that, he wasn't really going at it. And then all of a sudden they just kind of thrust him into it. And he had some success early, but I just think that teams were able to make adjustments, and he kind of was compensating for other things, and he couldn't make those adjustments. Like I don't think that Kirk Cousins is just that awful. Okay. I just think that maybe, he has some things going on behind the scenes, but they got themselves their next franchise quarterback in Michael Penix. So y'all know I was messing with you. I'm entertained. It's going to be a long 2 to 3 season minimum. Yeah. I mean, but you definitely want to get somebody that's going to kind of hit the ground running, kind of leave some, I don't know, some bread, on the ground, some crumbs for us to follow, to feel like we about to go in the right direction, but we'll see. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. Please hit the like button. And also, man, I've been getting some feedback about some of the clips that I've been putting out. I've been taking little small clips throughout these long shows that we do, and I've been making shorts out of them. If y'all want me to continue to do that, just let me know, man. I know a lot of people, they kind of come in a little bit late. They probably catch a little bit of it, of the show. Let me know. I want to continue to do those shorts, though. Start to doing more shorts. But if you all want me to dedicate an entire page to it or something like that, maybe start a new channel that just basically has just the shorts of episodes. Just let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to be putting shorts up. Some of the stuff that, some of you that's watching this live have probably already seen me say, but, I take out some of the, the parts that I feel like, gave us some really good dialogue. So I'm going to continue to do that. And thank you to those that, gave me some feedback on that. We'll try to, do more episodes like that. Just a matter of what type of form we're going to do. But also you can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8, Facebook. Search Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast. Blue Sky, the same thing, TJY Jones 8. Also every Wednesday at 7 p.m. starting tomorrow. I didn't put the link up, but that's going to be, I'm going to make a video for that so you all can, know where to find me every Wednesday on Bleacher Report, 7 p.m. Starting tomorrow. If you're watching this on a Tuesday, Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones. We'll be talking Saints football. We'll get more into Derek Carr. And to kind of, make up for that, Wednesday's episodes that we normally would do here on the State of the Saints are going to be on Bleacher Report. It'll be the same format. People will be able to chime in, call in, etc. Over there on Bleacher Report. So make sure that you come on over and continue to support the State of the Saints podcast and yours truly. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.